Good morning, everybody. Welcome to your Saturday Roundtable. It has been an eventful few days, no doubt celebrating the birth of our nation and recruits, all sorts of announcements being made, whether it's on a 4-hour Instagram cast or by their own admission through Twitter. Today, we're going to talk about CDC and see how he has done up to this point. We're going to talk about what our favorite CDC moments have been. I know that sounds a little strange, but he's been incredibly impactful in a short period of time, and we're going to discuss that. Then I'm going to have my friends Ian and Justin here hopefully pull you off the curtains, take you away from the ledge a little bit when we're talking about recruiting, so we can all understand this is all part of the process. It's a part of the cycle. But before we do, I want to thank our friend Laura Baker, who has been a massive supporter of us here, and we are incredibly grateful for her support. So if you're looking to buy or sell in the Central Texas area, please reach out to Laura Baker. She is a UT grad, an avid Longhorn fan. She's a part of IT, so she's a part of the family, but she's also an elite member of the Andy Allen team with Keller Williams. So if you're thinking about moving, please give her a call. Our very own Ian Boyd has worked with her and speaks very highly of her. Her number is 512-784-0505. Again, that's 512-784-0505. All right, boys. CDC, he's been around a short period of time, but have been incredibly impactful. We've seen the Moody Center come in. We've seen facilities changing. We've seen certainly some pretty baller coaching changes. Certainly in the last few weeks, but obviously over the period of time we've been here. And he's won the Directors Cup twice and was named Athletic Director of the Year. So pretty impressive resume over a short period of time. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. I mean, you guys have been covering this team for an extensive period of time. What are some of the things that you've noticed about his impact, not only on the football program, but the athletic program in general? And we'll start with you, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, it's foolish to not see his impact as being just otherworldly. Like I think he was exactly what Texas needed at the exact right time. DeLoss Dodds was the guy forever, and he really started this train the last 30 years of really getting this program in the position they were. We had that little spout with Steve Patterson. That didn't backfire very well. That didn't work over very well. Mike Perrin came in to kind of hold the steering wheel until they could get somebody, and then Conte kind of changed the game. You said it, like his prowess for being able to hire some of the best coaches in the country, taking them away from some of the most comfortable spots they were in. That's renowned. That's why he's as good as he is. Nobody raises money like he does. That's probably his best strength. But also getting the Moody Sitter done. Getting the upgrade in the facilities to the football field, and now they're looking at doing stuff with the baseball field, and he's constantly evolving. He's the adapt or die guy. He's constantly trying to improve the program, the game day experience. Bevo Boulevard has been an incredible success. And then, I mean, any guy that can get Mr. Worldwide Pitbull for your SEC celebration, because nothing says going into the SEC like Mr. Worldwide Pitbull. You know what? It's all fun and games, but the truth is CDC is a master at what he does. He's a master craftsman, and Texas is lucky because he's putting these coaches in the best possible position to succeed, to get the best possible players they can get, to put together the best possible programs they can. That's the job of an athletic director, and I don't know if there's anybody in the country that does it better.
I want to believe that CDC is so hands-on that he's choosing all of the acts for Longhorn City Limits. Like, he's a massive Salt and Pepper fan. And when he got the opportunity to bring in Mr. Worldwide, it was essentially a direct line to his mixtape. I think he's doing everything he possibly can to have his fingers all over everything. Ian, what are some of your thoughts on CDC's contributions to the program? We've got, Chris Danger Del Conte. How has he impacted the program as far as you're concerned?
Sorry, when did Pitbull become Mr. Worldwide?
Okay.
Was it after he had to go to Alaska?
When did he go to Alaska?
Oh, he had some internet competition where it's like this famous internet story where he let people vote on he was going to go to like a Walmart opening, and he gave all these people all these openings to vote on. And then there was this massive online campaign to send him to Alaska.
Right.
because they were opening a Walmart or whatever it was. People can fact check in the comments. And so it was like a small town. And so, yeah.
So hold on. So he leaves the continental United States, and essentially that's what creates Mr. Worldwide. Is that the premise you're working with?
That's my question.
Sure. No, we'll take that. Has there been anything specific to the University of Texas in terms of contributions that resonate with you?
I think Del Conte's capacity has been pretty remarkable. If you talk to people around the not people in the program, but people that are like Occupy Left Field, Joe Schmo season ticket holder,
the Texas Fund,
all sorts of people have stories of Del Conte hearing about an issue or a complaint and reaching out directly to some individual to try to get it sorted out, which is really remarkable. Considering that he's also operating at the top of a like nearly $1 billion enterprise that is Texas athletics, right? So just his overall capacity is really impressive. I think my favorite particular moments would be things that he was obviously only a factor in, but his Tom Herman is our coach. Overall handling of that transition was very effective. The Texas Tribune was coming for Texas every single day over the eyes of Texas. Tom Herman was trying to use that as a wedge to try to keep himself locked into Belmont or wherever the new offices are. Del Conte handled all of that masterfully and was able to help the transition to Steve Sarkisian that I think we all feel has been a big success. And then on the similarly political and sneaky side, the recent coup to take Schlossnagel from Texas A&M. We'll see how that goes. But
it'll go well.
I probably will. And that was extremely impressive. And I know that he's not the only one doing this, but his ability to operate at the high level operationally, and then also on extremely low level, like glad handling season ticket holders and fans of the program is you don't find that skill set all that often.
This might be a good transition too, because we do want to talk about, obviously this is the season of recruiting. This is the season of commitments. We often think of an athletic director really working on that macro level. They have to. I mean, they're in charge of the entire athletic department, obviously. But when we are talking about, without going into too much detail, because I know you know some of the things here, Justin, but how involved does a athletic director get with the interpersonal stuff of the players in terms of recruiting and maybe even with the NIL stuff? Do they keep an arm's distance with that, or are they involved? I mean, to what capacity can they be involved?
I think they have the ability to be as involved as they want to. I know that a lot of athletic directors, I wouldn't necessarily say are hands-on as Del Conte, but they're always present. They're always involved, no matter what the sport, no matter what the event. They're always there to greet the fans, to greet families, to greet the players' families, donors and alum. And Del Conte's very, very good at that, being on the ground. He'll be at Bevo Boulevard shaking hands. People want to take pictures with the guy. Like he does that. A lot of ADs, they assign a lot of those responsibilities, which is what they should do. Delegation is one of the strongest points for a leader. And I think he does that to an extent, but he just, like Ian said, the guy will pick a problem on Twitter and go straight to the source and fix it within hours or days or weeks. And that's unique. ADs, show me another athletic director on social media that does that, because I haven't seen it. And so I think he endears himself to the fans in that regard. And so, he just does things a little differently. I don't think he micromanages. I just think he likes to have an idea of everything that's going on. And that way, when people do come to him with a problem or do come to him with something that's that's hindering what they're trying to provide or grow, he's like, all right, let's not put it on a list and put a tack in it and have a meeting about it in 2 weeks. Let's fix it now. Let's do it now. And I got to tell you, in a day and age of procrastination and laziness, and it's going through the motions and watching, any politician or whatever go through the minutia of what they do on a regular basis, I feel like Del Conte lives it. I feel like he really does submerge himself in it. The guy didn't shave for 8 months until Texas was back on the field playing, competing as an athlete after 2020. He's an all-in guy, and I think fans really, really enjoy that. But ultimately, it comes down to wins and losses within the athletic departments. And at this stage, he's proven he can win at each sport with the coaches that he's helped select, that he's helped, field staffs, assistants, and things of that sort. So, I think you'd have a hard time finding holes in Chris Del Conte's game because the guy is pretty well-rounded top to bottom.
Transitioning over, because this last week, I think we can all be blunt and say that the University of Oregon, Phil Knight, the 86-year-old patron saint of the winged goddess of victory, Nike, has been kicking our tails pretty hard. But what I want to talk about is what does this really mean long term? Because you guys have been in these cycles a lot, and I think the conversations that I've had with some fans, certainly online, which are certainly always rational and reasonable, seem to be that the sky is falling and Texas is off its mark. But I think it's important to note the positions we're losing. Obviously, having Zion go to LSU isn't ideal with the defensive tackle position, but what are you seeing in this cycle? What are you seeing in terms of how this has related to your experience covering recruiting over the long term and in the aggregate? And what can we expect moving forward? I'll start with you, Ian. I know you had some thoughts on this recent development.
Yeah. Well, I have a theory, first of all. I don't know if you guys remember the Goodbye Toby episode of
Classic.
Do you recall that Michael Scott has a wad of cash in his shoe because his grandma gets old and she keeps writing him the same birthday check multiple times a year, and he just sticks it in his shoe until he can buy fireworks for Toby's goodbye party? I wonder if there's a similar deal with the 86-year-old Phil Knight writing his annual check to the athletic department or the football NIL fund, and he just keeps writing it like 5 times, and every time Dan Lanning sees him, hey, I'm waiting for that check to come through. This is actually the second 4th of July in 4 years, Justin, that has been marked by Oregon stealing a top couple of top prospects.
Yeah, it was Kelvin Banks, Cam Williams 2 summers ago.
Yeah.
July 4th hasn't been the best holiday for the Texas Longhorns in recruiting in the last few years.
Here's the deal. The Josiah Sharma loss really hurt because Zion Williams was way up on the list of targets for this recruiting class. They couldn't get that done. And then they thought they had a perfect out in Sharma. And then Oregon just came in and just snatched it out of their hands like a big brother stealing a Christmas present from under the tree. And that one hurts. The other one, more recently, doesn't hurt quite so much. I'm going to hit you with a statistic real quick. In 2024, On3 has 63 players designated as wide receivers who are ranked as blue chip players in the country. 63. 15 of them are from the state of Texas. There are so many good wide receivers. And not only that, but there's going to be 60 more that are 3 stars that end up being really, really good. Had to go to a smaller school to prove it, and then are going to be available in the transfer portal.
You'll be able to trade up.
Wide receiver, I have this paradoxical viewpoint where I think wide receiver is arguably the most important position in the college football game right now, yet also one of the easiest to man with really good players. So losing a 5-star from Duncanville to me is not anywhere close to a sky is falling moment. That's going to be really easy to patch up, either with the other high school recruits they're going to get in this cycle, or just in a couple years when they go get the guys that we now know for sure are good in the transfer portal. Defensive tackle is another issue. The sky is not falling there, but that's a much more worthy thing to panic over, in my opinion. And I don't think it's particularly even close.
Any thoughts on this, Justin? I know this is your bread and butter. You know what? I think a more maybe appropriate way of framing this rather is, what should fans be expecting and looking forward to moving forward as we get past that perilous July 4th that Texas has faced over the last few years? You know, we've done well, so I don't want us to think that this is an end all situation, because we've recovered generally very well in the last few years. So what can fans expect? How do you feel personally about the momentum that they've got moving forward?
Yeah, you know, it's silly to not, you know, see the elephant in the room, and that's, you know, Sharma, which is the worst beat. Ian's completely right. Losing to Corian Moore sucks, but Josiah Sharma was a much bigger need, and that one was just at the last. These aren't recruitments at that stage. These are negotiations, and that's exactly how that one went down. You wouldn't know it that Texas got in the last 2 weeks, a 5-star quarterback, the #1 receiver in the state for 2026, the #3 edge in the nation for 2025, and a big blonde offensive lineman out of the West Coast. You wouldn't know that because they lost out on Sharma and they lost out on DeCorian Moore, Zion Williams to LSU, Brandon Brown to LSU, and they're going to have to flip Riley Pettijohn because it's not going to be Texas when he announces. This is what you got to look forward to. You got to get through this little slog, because kids are deciding that much sooner. And what Texas needs to tweak is, kids, these agents are using Texas against them. They're using those bids, and they're going to the next highest bidder and telling parents and telling, you know, players, all right, you can get this. And if Texas really wants you, they'll go over it, to imply, if they don't go over it, maybe they really don't want you, which is disingenuous. But that's when you let agents in the house of a 16, 17, and 18-year-old, buddy, that's the pool you're going to be swimming in. And so you've got 5 decisions over the next 2 weeks, and some of those are going to go Texas' way. Nick Townsend looks fantastic for the Horns right now. Texas is in a great spot, and that's one of the best players in the country, either side of the football. You've got 3 receivers in Tanook Hines, Kelshawn Johnson, and Dalen McCutcheon. All bring their own skill set. All have a strong prospects. Texas is going to wave in a couple of those guys over the next couple of weeks. And then they're still in a great spot with, to me, the most important on the offensive side. That's offensive tackle Michael Fasusi. And that's one that, you know, if you hear rumors that Oregon's bid for DeCorian Moore was so exuberant over the top, which it was, that, you know, Texas didn't match that. Well, will they match others? They're not going to lose Fasusi over a bid. It's not going to happen. Sark will build from the inside out if he has to. And so there's light at the end of the tunnel. You just, recruiting's not for the faint of heart. It's a tough deal. Texas fans don't remember getting Dia Bell less than 2 weeks ago. Smith Arogbo 3 days ago. Because we're in a culture of being in the moment all the time and wanting instant gratification. Sark doesn't roll like that. He plays the long game, and I know fans hate hearing that, but you didn't hate hearing it the last 3 years when we laid it out and explained it to you. And he finished with top 3 and top 5 classes every year, and they went from 5 wins to 12 wins. Like that's significant, guys. And so let's just get a dose of reality. It's a bad beat. But that's what happens in this cycle, and that's what happens in all recruiting cycles. I blame the sports gods, to be honest with you, because when Texas snagged Jim Schlossnagle from the Aggies, that may have put some bad juju in the world.
Yeah, I hear you.
Because when you did something that big and that great on that scale to that rival, maybe the sports gods were thinking, okay, that we've got to balance the scales, fellas. So we're going to maybe take a few onto this side, but don't fret, Texas fans. Listen, if you have as much faith in Sark and CDC as we do, and as we have seen over the last 3 years, you've got to keep that faith. That's the signs of not seeing it, but believing it and knowing that it's there. We've seen it. Ian's covered it. LC has been all over the world proclaiming it. Just get on this roller coaster with us at Six Flags. Get you that fast pass. Don't get in that line. That's ridiculous. Strap in. Enjoy the ride. I had a buddy hit me up late last night and goes, "Have you ever felt more alive?" And you know, I'm not gonna repeat what I said because this is a family episode and a family show on the wonderful world of the Inside Texas Football YouTube channel. But for every hard rain, the sun's going to come. And I got to tell you, give it about 2 weeks, and I think Texas fans are going to be in a better mindset then than they are after this July 4th hangover.
There might be a couple more smitings left from the sports guys.
Yes, there's also going to be a few more smitings.
The degree of what they did with Schloss, you guys are
That's
right.
fair. Yeah, it's fair. We are due. I want to thank everybody for checking in. This is our Saturday Roundtable. This is our generally our pregame show. So when we have the opportunity in the off season to kind of take a look at some of these bigger topics with our experts, we really enjoy the opportunity to do that. And we thank you so much for spending your time with us. Again, check out Laura Baker if you can. She is obviously a great agent in the Austin area. Her number is 512-784-0505. And for Ian, for Justin and myself, again, thank you so much. Like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening in your car, pull over and subscribe to us there on your podcast catcher of choice. Thanks so much.